How do you think the exhibit is a call of action for Canadians and the Delhi community?
It is, first of all, a very beautiful and very powerful exhibit. I want to acknowledge the entire team, but I'm standing beside Anita, who is one of the major forces behind this, and the entire team that contributed. We know that the caste system was something that is very oppressive in South Asia, but what the exhibit shows is that that oppression that people felt in South Asia continues to be felt here in Canada. And so it is not something that's left in the past, as it should be. It is actually still something that people are feeling today. And there are some really sad but powerful comments from young people that have been discriminated because they've been told that they're less than because of their caste.
All these quotes, a majority of these quotes, are from Dalit youth that are born and raised here, right? It's
Sure,
them,
that it's impacting people.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
them telling their stories. This right here was what my 13-year-old niece was told in school in Vancouver. It says Chamars are like 2005 Honda Civics, and us Jets are Lamborghinis. So Chamar is a caste, which is the caste I belong to, and they come from leatherwork, and they're part of the Dalit, which were formerly considered the untouchables. And you say it's unbelievable. So it's still shocking, but it actually isn't shocking. Because actually, as you, it is.
Yeah, to your point of like how it's perpetuated, maybe not in the rigid practices, but in the casual jokes, which are not casual, very harmful, but also in the songs and music and culture.
Yeah.
Like that's how it's perpetuated.
It's actually increased. Like we were talking about Punjabi folk music and even like contemporary music from 80s and 90s, and references to Jack have like gone exponential since then.
Yes, they have totally increased. I can see that.
Oh, it has. We were trying to create a playlist without using the word jacked in the music.
Yeah.
It's taken us a long time, almost
Yeah.
as long as it took to put this together.
You know what? I used to have this requirement whenever I did events because I love Punjabi music. But I'm really offended by like two things. I feel like there's also a lot of colorism.
Yeah.
So like all the godiye, like I just like it really bugs me. So I don't care if there's some skin color. And then the caste references. So I'm always like, how do we create beautiful music that doesn't have those two references?
It just becomes instrumental.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But it really limits the songs, doesn't it?
It does. And then I think the important thing about this is also creating a consciousness about it, right? So like through this education, through this conversation, next time somebody hears a song that says jacked in it, it should irk them a bit, right? It should make them think instead, because when we unconsciously just keep going with it, it just keeps increasing and increasing.
Right.
Because there's nothing that's challenging it in the system.
Right.
So this is where this conversation is so important. It's not going to fix anything, but you know what? Like a little bit of shame, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
when you're
yeah,
like,
totally.
that goes for me too.
Totally.
This whole journey is actually really special. This right here is my great grandfather.
Oh wow.
Yeah, who first came here in 1906, and we'll talk about it more, but he's been documented as the first Dalit to ever come to North America,
Okay.
not just to Canada. And so over here, this is like my grandma and her sister.
Wow.
And the important part about this story is the Shri Guru Ravidas Gurdwara wasn't created because of religious differences that they had with the other mainstream Gurdwaras, because the Dalit people had historically been part of the Sangha, the congregations that helped build the Gurdwaras around here. But it was because of the discrimination that they were facing within the Gurdwaras. So, you know, as Jagmeet talked about, like around food and the purity of food. So in the langar halls, the kitchens, our families were, the women actually heard a lot about not touching the food. Or if they had a program and they had food, to take the food with,
Wow.
right?
The exact opposite. Yeah.
Exact opposite of what the Sikh values are.
Yeah, for sure.
And so after, you know, a lot of time, and as the congregation grew, they were like, you know what, we're just going to do our own. We're just going to build our own. And then that's how that came about. I think the inspiration is my lived experience. I come up from the Dalit community, and as activists in the community, I've seen the harm that caste continues to do. I mean, just in my family, with my nieces, my nephews, my cousins, and the normalization that we have done around caste within the Punjabi community. So the inspiration was to start conversation, right? This is a journey. It's not going to get changed over one night, but I think it was start talking about it, start unnormalizing it, creating some friction around it.
So what do you want the people who come over to the exhibit to learn about?
I think my main focus when creating Overcast was, it was really focused on youth, especially Punjabi youth, because through media, through how we have normalized it in society, they're learning that it's okay and to be proud of their caste, and especially caste dominant people. So through this, I want them to actually learn about the harms around caste. I want them to learn about the evil of caste. It's not just hashtags and music lyrics, right? This actually carries a legacy of shame, of exclusion, and it doesn't fall in line with our Canadian values.
Would you be able to highlight a little bit of the exhibit as well?
The exhibit, you need to come and take a look at it. You need to come and walk through, spend a few minutes reading through the stories. So these are stories of Dalit youth that are born and raised in Canada. And it's about how caste shows up for them. Because a lot of people will say, well, how is caste relevant, right? Like in Canada, how does it show up? They'll tell you how it shows up. It shows up on the playground when they're 6 years old. Shows up in a classroom, shows up at work, shows up when they're dating. And the families don't accept you because you're Dalit. So this is a storytelling.